All right, so today we have the distributive property, and this is probably one of my favorite ones because you will actually see this quite a bit, especially in algebra. But so what I want you to do is look at what's actually going on here. So go ahead and pause the video for a second and then just really look to see what is going on. So the way I would say this is 8 multiplied by the sum, because this is a sum in here, 10 plus 4. So that's what's happening on the left-hand side. And then on the right, I'm saying 8 times 10, or 8 multiplied by 10, plus 8 times 4. So if I was to look over here on the left-hand side, I could do what's in parentheses first. 10 plus 4 is 14. And then I multiply it by 8. Okay. And if I was to do that, that gives us 112. Okay. And then on the right-hand side, what I've done is I'm multiplying 8 by 10. That gives me 80. Plus, and then 8 times 4 is 32. So if I was to add this, 80 plus 32, that would also give me 110. Or sorry, 112. And then here's another one that I want you to take a look at. So the main difference that you should see is that this has addition and then this one has subtraction. So let's go ahead and do what's in parentheses first. 4 minus 2 is 2. So I'm going to do 3 times 2. That's going to give me 6. And then 3 times 4 is 12 minus 6. That also gives me 6. Right. So this is something that we can use, especially when we're multiplying a bigger number. So like this 8 times 14, it might be easier for me if I was going to do that with mental math to break that out into 10 and 4. That way I could multiply each of them separately. So I do that a lot, especially if somebody says, 7 times 15. I might break the 15 into 10 and 5, multiply the 7 by 10 to get 70, and then multiply the 7 by 5 to get 35, and then add those two together. And that would just be an easier way to do it in your head. So what is actually happening is what we call the distributive property. And just like we're distributing papers in the class, so we're handing it out. And so here's your formal definition. You can multiply a number and a sum by multiplying the number by each part of the sum and then adding these products. So here you can say that I'm multiplying my sum, and that would equal multiplying each part of the sum. Okay? So what we like to do is, and what we want to make sure you also do, is make these little arrows. So this is where the distribute the love comes in, because 8 wants to give 10 a hug. Okay, so 8 multiplies by 10, and then 8 multiplies 4. So again, previous slide showed us that this is 112 on this side, and then this is 112 on this side. And then we'd like to put a little check just to make sure that we are correct. So these arrows are very important as well. So Ms. Peterson's going to show you what happens if one of these was a variable.
Just real quick before we do, make sure that the purpose, just going into this, the definition, the purpose of doing this is really breaking it down to make the math easier. Because 8 times 10 and 8 times 4 hopefully are easier than 8 times 14. We don't necessarily know that off the top of our head, where we know these numbers easier, hopefully. So we want to really give you an example using some visuals. So with the visuals, we're going to do, we're going to also use variables here. And it's going to be 2 times the quantity, 3x plus 2. And we're going to represent our x's with these guys and our 1's with this green guy. And now, see, we need 3 of these and 2 of these, and I'm going to fill them in right in here. So, right, there are 2 sets of these parentheses. There's 1 here, and there's 1 here. Now, I'm going to regroup them. I'm going to get all of my x's together and all of my 1's together. Now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's. And over here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 1s. So that tells me that 2 times the quantity of 3x plus 2 equals 6x plus 4. Okay, again, using the arrows that Mrs. D was just showing us, we always want to use the arrows. Okay, so we've got 2 times 3x plus 2 times 2. 2 times 3x plus 2 times 2. There we go. And here we're going to multiply just the numbers because we know how to multiply 2 and 3 together. That's going to be 6x plus 2 times 2. Here we have 4. Okay, so this is just an example using variables, and we're going to go over a whole bunch of them in class. Please make sure you write down any questions. If you have any questions, especially with the model, this is something that we can definitely go over in class tomorrow. Talk to you later.